Hi, I'm William Lopiccolo, and today we're putting together a chemtrail buster. And so these are the basic ingredients you need on the table. Start off with a tall glass of chocolate milk to get everything going in the right direction. And then from there we're using steel wool pads because the smaller the metal, the more dense the metal, the stronger the chemtrail buster will be. Tons of these crystals. These are quartz crystals, also quartz sand. You could buy a 60-pound bag of this for $4. Is one of the best things to use. And so we're going to use a 2-gallon bucket and copper rods. So this basically will blow all this chemtrail garbage back into the atmosphere in space that we're not going to be breathing. And so I'm going to make some cutouts to fit the pipes on here. So we'll make 2 sets. So we'll have a lower set here cut out and a bigger set up here to hold the pipes more in place. And as we go, we'll put a couple of clips of it being put together and we'll have a finished product for you soon. Alright, so right now I'm just making a few pipe cutouts so this way we can hold the pipes in place. And just to go over some of the basic things that are needed again, Bondo resin comes with the already quick dry resin that's on the side. You just mix them together. I got a little mixing jar right here on the end. And you've been using that and made many different types of chemtrail busters, pyramids, and I guess smart bombs if you want to call them. They're good for EMF, EMR radiation, and to blow that garbage back out into space because nobody needs to be breathing that. You can look up your local geoengineering companies and see what they say about spraying chemtrails and how much toxic garbage they're spraying into the air daily. Yeah, and so looking up these geoengineering companies, they talk about chemtrailing to have complete weather control by the year 2025. I guess this is one of the newer weapons of today. And so they're spraying metric tons of aluminum, strontium, and barium into the sky, which has already been classified to cause Alzheimer's, autoimmune diseases, and neurological disorders way before the time a person is supposed to get stuff like that. And so this is a good way of beating the billions of dollars they're wasting. And imagine how much good they could be doing with all that money with hungry people, stuff like that. And they got me making stuff like this at home. You can look this up too. I mean, there's some scientists there that are pretty amazing with this. They talk about making these at 120-mile radius above your home, which is the one that I'm making today. And so guys like Wilhelm Reich is the creators of this, and then guys at today are more like Ken Rolls, and Michael Tellinger is one of my favorites. He's pretty amazing. He's actually just been out here in Arizona recently too. Alright, so I got 5 holes cut out, going on my 6th. And I'm going to go on my 2nd piece altogether, cut out another 6 holes. This is mainly to keep the copper rods in place so they're not all in different directions, but going in more or less the same direction. Alright, so that's more or less what I'm cutting them out for. So once I lay in this Bondo resin, I will throw in a bunch of steel wool pads, fill up some space, get the metal in there, inorganic and organic material. So I'll throw a layer of Brillo pads, small layer of the sand.
Oh God.
I'll have the pipes in there. Each pipe will have a few crystals a piece to give them more power. Originally I started out with 1 crystal a piece, now I'm putting a few per pipe. And we should get at least 120-mile radius out of this above the house to clear out, kind of like a big pizza slice in the sky. And so just as an idea, a lot of people put a cutout right here in the middle. So when you got your pipes in there, you can still pour into it and take these off once the base cures and raise it up a little bit up here and still keep it as a secure base. And then you'll throw your 2nd one up top to hold the rest of the pipes from leaning all over the place. This is a homemade form of a pyramid These are also used, same thing as chemtrail busters, except these don't have copper rods coming out of them. These are just shaped a specific way. Oh god, we got a sticker. This one's gonna be a fight. There's some other ones right here that I'd already done, some smaller ones. You get an idea what they look like. So here's what a big one looks like, and you could see in here there is a crystal wrapped with a copper rod. It gives it a little more strength. One of these, a big one like this, will cover like a good 5-mile radius around your house, so they're pretty strong as opposed to these big ones. I wrapped a bunch of these crystals in a copper wire in the right positive way. So it's kind of like a positive charge you see on the end of a battery. The same way the ring of the battery and the metal is shaped. The same purpose for this. I put in a pipe just to give you an idea of how it's going to be done. And so I'm going to lay another one up here. And once this is on, these will hold the rest of the pipes in place. And I'll use a couple of pieces of tape. And so once the resin on the bottom gets hard, which it will within a minute or two, it will hold all the pipes in place. There's nothing in there now, but I have a positive copper band ring charge in there. And so that basically puts a positive charge through all the crystals that are pulling in bad energy from the bottom and pushing out a positive energy through the top of these pipes. And that's more or less how it works. Okay, so this is more or less it without pouring any of the ingredients. I made a little hole in here. I'll be stuffing these with steel wool. I'll put about a dozen of them in there and throw a bunch of the Bondo in. Once that dries up, I'll pull this bottom cardboard out and pour it up from there with some more of the sand, which this is 90% quartz sand, which is what powers these things up, so I figured what better to use. And then once again, these wrapped also gives it a positive charge. So we'll be dropping those crystals into the pipes, and from there we'll have a full 120-mile distance chemtrail buster. Should be pretty interesting. And look up some more people. Ken Rolls, Michael Tillinger. Those guys are perfected the science on doing these. And so basically this is what I'm doing. I'm dropping these in here with the positive copper charges, and that one went right through without the copper, which is fine, because the next crystal will just push the copper ring all the way through. There's another tough fit. So what I did was I just made a little form to pour into the middle here. And I poured a couple of, maybe about a pint in there. I'm gonna let that harden up. Then I'll pull this cardboard ring up to about here and tape it up there. Keep the poles in place though. Then I'll fill up the rest of the bucket. These materials right here. And it will be done by tomorrow morning. Completely hardened. So here's our Bondo with some of the quick dry liquid. I'm gonna mix that in for a couple of minutes. No, don't touch this stuff. It's nasty.
Well, you have to explain to them like what this does.
Yeah, and so I would wear gloves and glasses with this stuff to be safe. It's It's really hard to get off once you get it on you. Very messy. It stinks up a storm. I would suggest doing it outside. We are right near the back door, which should be wide open, by the way.
So why don't you open it?
Shut up. I'll cut that out.
Edit. Basically everything Mom has to say. Just kidding. Alright, so we're gonna pour some more into the middle. Be careful, this is a little messy here. There you go, dip it on in. Oh, it stinks. I'm just gonna let that sit, let it fall in. This is a activator, so basically all it does is speed up the dry time. Time for a new mixing stick. This one's getting a little top end heavy. It's gonna be time for a new mixing cup too. It's starting to build up in there. Got a heavy little base going. Alright, you can see it looks like it's starting to fill up there. Once that part dries out, we should be good to go to add some touches on this big chemtrail buster. I'm mixing up the last of the Bondo to throw on top and seal the rest of the quartz sand and the bro pads and metals that we'd mixed in there. Let's see, I'm gonna over mix it. See, we throw our activator in real quick. That'll help it. Just gotta mix it up pretty good. And let's head to the outside area.
Hey, I cut that part out. That looks like, whoa, transitions outside. Whoa.
So you just gotta get a good mix in here. Make sure that activator's mixed in real well. Actually, we'll just pour it right into there.
Yeah, say like how to layer it.
And so basically right now you can see the Brillo pads and the quartz sand that's mixed in. So we've layered it the whole way up. Just like this, layer Brillo pads, layer quartz sand. And this should, might have to mix just a little bit more to finish covering. For the most part, this is the last layer, it's pretty much done. And so we're just adding a little bit more to cover the very top. Should be a nice good seal. Let's see, find the open activator. Those look pretty full. And that's the open one. Alright, let's bring this right back outside. Fine. probably add just a little bit more. Not much. Alright, so this is pretty much a done deal here. Just kind of covering the top. You can see it's still a little wet. This is done. I'm probably just going to layer it off right up to the very tip here, and it will be done. So there's our 6 pipe, 4 crystal per pipe.